Well, got back to St Ives yesterday. Had a little look on Longreach to start with, but it's actually got pretty busy over there. And also, you're not allowed to fish on the far side anymore where the buoy line is. So, yeah, as a result of that, I had a little wander about, fished on the big fjords last night. Just a swim that I've always fancied having a night in, to be honest with you. I thought there might be something showing out there. The weather's been, super carpy. Full moon, low pressure, big southwesterlies, but the southwesterly now is like about 2 weeks old, and they just don't seem to be on the end of it or on the back of it on most of the lakes. Not doing much showing either. So this morning I packed up at 4:30, had the gear in the car by 5 after having a little mooch around the area where I was. Drove over to the meadow, had a good look on the four corners of that, didn't see anything showing. Checked a baited up spot on the fjords, didn't see anything showing there. Had a look on Longreach, no, just literally nothing showing. But yesterday, I did see a few in the snags on the shallow. I've not fished this one yet, so I thought I'd come and have a little dabble on here, because this morning, when I come through, I put a little bit of bait out last night and saw a fish go past exactly where I'd baited. Looked like it might have dropped down and had a little schnuffle, and then come back up and swam back up off to the snags. There's been a couple of little fizz patches going on as well, so there's definitely the odd fish about, and this is as close to any carp that I can get at the moment, so it's good enough for me. I'll give it the day just sort of fishing for a bite, and then tonight I think I'll give them a bit of grub, try and entice them into having a bit of a feed. And yeah, we'll probably have 24 hours in this swim. After lots of moving around lately, it'll be nice to just chill out in one swim and sit on a bit of bait in an area where I'm pretty confident there are carp around. See what happens. Well, last time I left you, I was at the shallow. I think I stayed there for about 2 hours before heading off. Just wasn't feeling it. The algae was starting to fill the lake and it was all drifting round, and it just looked pretty horrible, to be honest with you. So I jumped back over on Longreach. It's funny actually, all my ex-girlfriends have said I've had commitment issues. I don't know what they're talking about. I always struggle to sit and be happy in a swim. But look at this. As I say, I've done a couple of 3 nights on Longreach now. It's been a struggle to get on the actual fish. Where they've been showing has been out of anyone's range, and yeah, all I could do was get as close to them as I could and hope they drift over. And finally, they did. I fished 3 different swims the last 3 nights, or 4 different swims in the last 4 nights actually. But yeah, all that work has finally paid off with this Longreach 22 pound, stunning, fully scaled. Over the moon with that one. Let's have a quick look at the other side. There we go. What a carp. Let's hope his big friend, the big fully, is the next one. Still not been out. I had a bite whilst I was having pictures with that last fish, and by the time I got to the rod, it was ripping, and it got round a weed bed and it was absolutely solid, and there was very little I could do about it. So I had to go and grab the boat and a life jacket out of the car. I was running around like an absolute lunatic. Realised how unfit I was, because I never run anywhere. Anyway, after a bit of a battle in the boat, I've managed to catch this absolutely stunning 27 pound linear. Look at that. Over the moon with that. Thought I'd lost my mojo after having a run of blank nights, but seems to be back. This weather has definitely turned them on. There was another one out last night too, so yeah, really, I need to be getting my rods back out ASAP. But first of all, I need a change of clothes. So let's go and get that sorted. A couple of nice shots for this one first. But yeah, Joey's over the moon. Happy days. I think I've just about managed to get myself back to kind of normal order. Got lovely dry clothes on. Popped up the shop, got some more supplies. I was going to go home today, but with conditions like this, after such boring conditions for so long, and them obviously reacting to it, I've got to stay, haven't I? You know, the friendly common hasn't been out yet, the big fully hasn't been out yet. I say yet, they haven't been out for like 5 years, but there's always a chance. So yeah, feel like kind of in the zone. It was a mad one this morning. I'd say that bite, well, 9 o'clock I had a bream, and I think 10 o'clock I had a bite from the first carp with 22. Managed to get that one in fairly easily. It got caught in a little bit of weed out there. Then was literally just round the corner doing the pictures with it. It was a bit darker in there, it was a bit too bright out here, and I'd cranked my receiver up just in case, and literally I was just doing the pictures at the time, and oh no, bolted up here, ripping line off a really tight clutch, struck into it, ran up the bank to try and get the line angle, because you've got 2 shallow bars out here. So obviously I wanted to get that line well away from that, and then it's got stuck in that weed, and it was, I'd say I thought it was completely over, to be honest with you. If you didn't have the boat, you probably would have ended up pulling for a break. I don't think it would have even kicked itself out. There was so much of it all wrapped up in a ball, and when I got out there, it just, well, I thought it was snagged up, but after a little while, as this weed slowly started coming, it was a huge expanse of weeds, and I was ripping it off. Is there a fish still in here? Has it just dumped the rig? Well, it's raining, and it's just one of their moments, a proper carpy moment. And then, yeah, I'm feeling through the rig, and I saw the tail rubber. I think, the rig must be in here somewhere. Maybe it's just dumped it in it. And then suddenly I felt a fish. Whoa, fish! And I'm hand lining it at this point, because, as I say, I had to swap over the hand line because the rod just wasn't doing anything. And all the other lines wrapped up in the weed, and it would have been an absolute nightmare if it would have kicked off. So I kind of didn't give it a chance to, As soon as I got out of that weed, got the net round, whipped it under it, and scooped it up. And yeah, what a fish. I was absolutely buzzing with that one. So thanks to the guys for the help. Doing that kind of thing on your own, obviously it is possible, but it just makes it a lot harder. So yeah, I had Lee, James and Hugh here to help me out. So thanks to you guys. Fingers crossed there might be another bite on the cards. The wind's changed round, we've got a nice sort of easterly now blowing across here. It's cool, it's drizzly. It's bang on, carpy as feck. Come on, the big uns. Top after morning to you. Well, it's been another grey and dismal morning, but still very carpy looking and feeling. Although having said that, I've not actually seen any carp show out there today. I've seen a few bream roll, but that was also the case yesterday. Which is quite amusing, really, because every morning this week I've got up really early and pretty much packed up by 6 o'clock, and I've been off on the move because I decided that, just wasn't on them, wasn't seeing them. And then yesterday I wasn't seeing them, but had the bites anyway. I mean, obviously there was that change in weather, and I knew they weren't too far away from me where they were holding up. So, yeah, they just drifted over. We're coming into yesterday's bite time now. So I've got my Wilsons on, ready to go, should I need to jump in the lake, which is pretty much guaranteed if you do hook one in here. First of all, we end up coming up this slope, just because there's a couple of shallow bars out there, so you have to keep the line up away from those bars as much as possible. Apparently you get quite a lot of cut-offs in here. So far I've been lucky, I don't want to say too much, touch wood. But yeah, it still looks and feels pretty good. I'm going to give it till about 1 o'clock, and then I'm going to head home, because I've now done 5 nights, and yeah, I'm looking forward to a nice bath, night in my own bed, and some proper home-cooked soul food. Yeah, that's what I need. But first of all, come on, a friendly comment. Oi, oi. Well, I'd like to tell you that this is the friendly common, but it's not. It's my old fluffy hair, 5 nights on the bank. It's a lovely 12-pound linear, and any carp out of this lake is very more than welcome. As you'll see, when it behaves, It is an absolutely stunning little creature. Whee. There we go. Well, this came on the left-hand rod, which I had considered moving in a bit closer because there'd been a little bit of bubbling going on the first bar. Once again, not many fish had been showing out there, just the odd bream. I had this theory actually the other day. I was thinking, well, if the otters are visiting here quite regularly, if I was a carp, I'd probably be hanging around with the bream too as well, because obviously they're going to get away a lot quicker than a slow, dopey old bream is. Wow, look at that. Absolutely stunning little creature. Let's have a little look at the other side, shall we? And there we go, here's the other side. Lovely little male. Still got the old spawning tubercles on it. Cracking little fish. Right, let's get him back. Well, we have got a common. Probably about an hour or so after that mirror, the rod has absolutely ripped off and the relentless rain has actually stopped one of my buzzers working. So I didn't actually hear the alarm because the alarm wasn't going. What I did hear was a whack as the reel smacked into the delkin. I've got the Jag lockdowns, which are really, really good and super effective. However, because of the angle, oh, look at that, it's showing itself off. Because of the angle that I've got my rods with the tips right up and the fact that it's been raining, so the rubber's got wet, it wasn't gripping it quite as well. So they've recently sent me some of their new lockdowns, which clip the rod into place. So I think next session I'm going to be using them. But look at that! Jet black, stunning long reach common, 22 pound. And he's showing himself off as well with his dorsal sticking up. Made up with that. 4 bites in the last 24 hours. And so far I managed to get them all in. So yeah, it's all going well. I was going to go home today. I should be going home today, but I've not really got a lot to go home for. And you know, the fish are obviously on the feed. The next one could be one of them big ones. So I'm going to have to stick it out tonight. One more night. We're gonna rock down to Electric Avenue and then we'll take it higher. In this sling here, it's probably the best carp I've ever caught. And Joe is buzzing like a effing pylon, shaking like a leaf. So I had a bite, started dropping back, and then I see it start pulling, so I jumped down the old lethal slope on the rod. And it just pulling so bloody hard. I couldn't stop it, and it was just going for the boys. I'm like, no, and I just couldn't do anything about it. Obviously, got the shallow bars out there, and I'm fishing over them. Obviously, worried about getting cut off, so I didn't want to give it a stupid amount of pressure. And it got caught in something. It looked like it was just before the buoy line. Didn't know whether it was a bit of weed or whether it actually got around the buoy. And I thought, I can't mess about here. This is clearly one of the big ones. Like, to pull that hard, I've got to get the boat. So I jumped in the boat, pulled myself out to it. As I got out to it, it's popped up off of the snag or weed or whatever it was round, and then it's pulling me about. And obviously I'm near the buoys and it's towing me around, towing me there. It's just an absolute animal. And it's the first little glimpse of it I've just seen this big dark fish, big scales on the side, and I thought that can only be one thing. That's got to be the big fully. And so knowing that, do you know what I mean? It was proper squeaky bum moment to the max. Just hoping that hook was going to stay in. And yeah, it carried on towing me about. I tried to have a little scoop at it at one point and trying to get a lucky scoop, and it weren't having none of that. So eventually it kind of tired out, come up to the top, and I just knew that was my chance, you know, and got the net around it. Yes! I don't normally shout when I catch one, but I think my bellow was echoing around the lake. But yeah, you wait till you see this one. I've got Dave coming down, Dave Robinson, one of the Sipography boys, who's a lovely guy and a super keen angler who just loves to see cool carp. There's not many people I've met who get as excited as he does about seeing other people's fish. And when he heard I'd caught this one and I needed a cameraman, he was more than willing to come and help. So he's on his way. It's going to be about 15 minutes. Oh, can't wait to show you this one. I really can't. Epic. Oh my God. Jesus, Joseph and Mary. That is unfucking real. Well, we knew this one was a special one and a very rare one, but you never really appreciate just how special they are until you see them on the bank. Wow. I think 5 years now it's not been caught. Very rarely even gets seen in the actual water. The last time it was out, it hadn't been seen in the water for 5 years. Extremely elusive carp. It's 39. It's just over 39, but we'll call it 39 because it's bouncing. Yeah, 39 pound. Lovely. Whew. Wow. Like I say, a pound difference, who cares? This is incredible. So the battle was unreal, you know, it was just towing me around by them boys. I had to get in the boat because there's two savage bars in between and couldn't apply the amount of pressure you might normally apply in that sort of situation, just for fear of getting cut off and, you know, from the power of it. I just knew it was one of the big ones and I couldn't be losing that. So yeah, thankfully the boat was on hand and I had a life jacket in the car. One of the best carp I've ever caught, if not the best carp I've ever caught.